If tan b minus 5 equals 0, let me just write it here on the black spot. 12 tan beta negative 5 or minus 5 equals 0. Then we are given what? A restriction there. Okay, let me just write it properly. 12 tan beta minus 5 equals 0. Then we are given a restriction. Therefore, they want us to determine the value of sine b plus cos beta with the aid of a diagram, the aid of a sketch. You're going to show us your sketch, but before that, make sure that you make tan b the subject of the equation or the subject of the formula. So it must be tan b equal to a fraction. Let's make it to look like that. Therefore, you're going to transpose the 5 to the right. You are left with 12 tan beta equals positive 5. Therefore, you divide both sides by 12. You're going to have what? Tan beta equals 5 over 12. Therefore, we know that this is what we were looking for. Tan beta or a trig ratio equals a fraction. Even when it's cos or sine, we know this is y and this is x. Therefore, tan beta equals, it is expressed as a positive trig ratio, and it is positive on the first and on the third quadrant. But now we have what is known as a restriction. It tells us that we must start between 90, or must draw a diagram between 90 and 360. So this is 90, and where is 360? 360 is right here. Therefore, we must draw a graph where on the third quadrant where there are two ticks. I hope that makes sense. Then you can actually draw the graph right here as a right angle triangle. Now, there's this thing that you must remember, that here the coordinates are positive. X is negative, both here are negative. Only y is negative here. So the opposite of the first quadrant is found on the third, the second, and fourth. Okay, meaning 5 and 12 are both negative on the third quadrant. For negative 12 is right here. Therefore, we must find the value of r, the hypotenuse. Use what? Theorem of Pythagoras. Y squared, you can write Pythagoras, right? Therefore, what is the value of r? We do not have it. That's what we are determining. The value of x is negative 12 squared plus negative 5 squared. Therefore, we're going to have 144 plus 25. Therefore, the value of r squared, we're going to have 169. Divide both sides, not square root both sides. Going to have r as 13 units, and it makes sense. This is actually the largest or the longest side. Let's try to solve. We wanted to solve out sine beta plus cos beta, not theta but beta. Therefore, what is sine beta? It's y over r. Y is what? Negative 5 over 13 plus into negative 12 over 13. Therefore, you can simplify it further by getting rid of the brackets. It's going to be negative 12 over 13. Therefore, you can take one denominator, then you subtract the exponent. The numerator is going to have negative 17 over 13. That's our answer. Sorry, it's all about understanding the restriction and the trig ratio that you're given in terms of an equation. So that's it. This is how you're solving it. 5 for 5 marks. So this is how you solve this question, guys. Yeah, so let's continue, and don't forget to like the video, to share it, to comment, and to subscribe to the channel. Now they're saying if sine 43 equals p, then they say determine the value of the following in terms of p without using a calculator. So what you must do is that you solve these questions with the aid of a diagram. Therefore, p over 1, this will be y over r. all the time. This is what you do. And 43 is an acute angle, meaning we're going to actually draw our triangle on the first quadrant, because it is where we find what our acute angles. Therefore, we're going to write that 43 right there, then and the 47 right here, meaning 180 minus 90 minus 43, we're going to get 47. So that when we add the interior angles of this right angle triangle, it will give us what? 180. I hope that makes sense. Then we do have R, and we do have the value of P, which is Y. Therefore, let's solve for X. X squared equal to X squared plus Y squared. What is the value of R? It's 1. Squared equal to the value of X. We do not have it. That's what we're determining. Plus Y, which is P squared. Therefore, 1 equal to X squared plus P squared. Therefore, 1 minus P squared equals X squared. Then plus or minus square root. Therefore, X is going to be positive, because everything is positive on the first quadrant. We're going to have what? Positive square root 1 minus P squared equals X. So that's the value of X. Then you can actually simplify, solve cos 133. So this is found on the second quadrant, which is 180 minus 47, the one that you have in your diagram there. So that will actually help you. It will be like you're having your memo with you. So it's going to be 47. Therefore, 180 minus 47 gives us 133. Therefore, it's going to be negative cos 47. Therefore, negative cos 47. Here we do have the value of X. Therefore, negative cos 47 is going to be negative P over 1. That's negative P. This is our answer. I hope you understood this. Very, very important. This is a question from a past question paper, 3.22. We have tan negative 43. I told you on the previous video that negative angles are found on the fourth quadrant. Therefore, tan will be negative 43. Therefore, you can actually solve this as negative y over x. So it's going to be negative p. What is the value of x? The value of x, this is the value of x. This is the value of y. Therefore, what is the value of x? The value of x is going to be, let's study the first, negative p over the value of x, square root 1 minus p squared. This is the answer. I hope you understood it. Very, very important questions. These are questions where main learners are actually getting it wrong. But I hope you are following. If you do, please like the video right away. So it's all about actually be given, even if it can be sine 23, cos 23 equals 5. Equals any alphabet. You actually write over 1. Now we have sine 90 minus x, sine 360 minus x, divide by tan x minus 180. Therefore, this is going to be cos x over negative sine, not negative cos, is negative sine x, divide by, okay, times, let's just use divide by, we'll use times after, divide by, let's try to solve this thing aside. We add 360 because 180 is a negative angle. Therefore, it's going to give us what? X plus 180. It is the same thing as what? Tan theta equals tan 180 plus x. Therefore, it's going to give us what? Positive tan x. I hope you understood this. So this is going to be negative sine x times, you reciprocate what? This reciprocal. It's going to be 1 over tan x. Therefore, it's going to be negative cos over sine x times, reciprocate the reciprocal right now, is going to be 1 over tan x is one the same thing as cos x over sine x, because this thing over here, it's a what? It's a reciprocal. This 1 over tan x is a reciprocal. Therefore, you can write it, you can say times sine x over cos x. Therefore, they are going to cancel out. You're going to have what? -1. So that's our answer. Let's move to the last question. Did I say negative or positive? The answer must be -1. Let me just restore the information. So it's going to be -1. This becomes our answer, right? Because of this negative right here. We're going to multiply it with what? With the one that we'll be actually getting by dividing or cancelling the like terms. Therefore, 3.32 tan 205. This is reduction formula, 7 marks. Cos 315 and times sine 135 all over sine 210. Cos 150 times tan 25. Now do this thing. I won't do it. Try to do it, but the answer, it must be square root 3 over 2. This must be the answer. So when you solve 3.32, you're going to get square root 3 over 2. Do it by yourself, and please do what is written on the screen by a red color.